What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Mike. I am a full-time media seller. My primary focus is sending books to Amazon through Amazon FBA. I go around all your thrift stores. I do bulk buys from people's personal collections, and I make a full-time income doing this. As well as that, we have a weekly Zoom call for YouTube members. The link's always in the description. And we also have a YouTube membership Discord as well. And today's video is one I was hoping I never would have to make ever in the lifetime of my channel. So most of you probably already know restock limits are back, and it sucks across the board. Everybody's numbers getting pushed way down, and if you've seen in the thumbnail, I'm already over how much they're allowing me to have in stock. So this is a huge impact on your business, and we're gonna dive into it and kind of see how you can mitigate your risk when it comes to dealing with restock limits, and what my plan is and what your plan may be. So let's get right on. All right, so let's cover the basics here. What are restock limits? Restock limits are basically, it's an inventory amount that Amazon puts on your account where you can send in X amount of items. So for example, if you go to your Amazon Seller Central, manage inventory, manage FBA shipments, and there's a little thing on the bottom here, you'll see like a restock limit. If you click on that, you can see how many standard size items that you're gonna be able to send in. So basically Amazon has this cap on how many items you can send. So when you hit that cap, most people, you know, it's 1,000 or 5,000 or kind of like an even number across the board. So for a little bit of context, mine before the restock limits happened was a little bit over 6,000. So I had about 6,200 available units I could have in the Amazon warehouse at any given time. And I'll pop up my screenshot here. You guys can now see I was utilizing 3,061 of those units. And this morning, Monday, usually when they update the restock limits, I got cut down to 2,723. So basically what that means is I can't send any more items in until you have enough space in stock. So I would have to sell roughly, you know, 300 and odd so items for me to be able to even send in another single item. That sucks. We all thought Amazon, you know, they've been, you know, all this empty warehouse space. We all thought this would never happen again. Last fourth quarter, it was the same thing, and a lot of big time booksellers that kind of, you know, pushed them to go in other directions. So you have a choice to make, right? What are you gonna do? I can't send in any more items until I'm under this 2,700. So what are you supposed to do? You know, this is your full-time income. What are other ways that you can kind of pivot your business to continue to make the same amount of money? Now, this goes to show, like, you gotta be ready at any single time, minute, second of the day. Something like this can just pop up and nobody knew it was gonna happen. Everybody thought the opposite. Everybody thought restock limits, there was no chance they were gonna come back. Well, they're back, and they're beating everybody up about it. So my plan is, I'm just gonna switch to merchant fulfilled. So what other choice do you have? You could, if you don't have eBay, I guess you could start an eBay store. But if you're solely focused on Amazon, and at the beginning of the year, I was maxed out at the 1,000 cap. So I was at 1,000 probably for a month and a half, and I would literally have boxes ready to go with the quantities on the side written. So I knew, hey, I have 43 open spots, then I can send in this box that's got 42 items. And I literally was just ready to go the second it opened up. But now that I have a lot more inventory, and I'm finding a lot more, and I'm spending a lot more time, something like that just isn't gonna be feasible for where I'm currently at in my business. So what I did, I already had a merchant fulfilled Scout IQ trigger. So if you're maxed out and you want to get into merchant fulfilled, I have the video that I did not too long on how to merchant fulfill on Amazon. So basically all the tools are already out there for you to be successful if you're maxed out and you want to go this route. So from now on, when I go out and scan, I'm going to be scanning for merchant fulfilled CDs, DVDs, and now books. Yes, it takes space. Yes, it takes some kind of inventory system so you know where the books are when you do get an order. But there's no other option. I'm going to continue to roll on my eBay store, you know, my $20 minimum comp. But for Amazon, it has to go merchant fulfilled. There's no other way about it. And this is only the first week they've come out, so it wouldn't surprise me if it winds up being like last year and everybody gets cut down to the 1,000 restock limit amount. Why Amazon does it, who knows? It sucks. I mean, there's no other way to put it. And as a large bookseller with a lot of volume, you know, it's going to impact your business. Like financially, it's going to impact your business. But what are you going to do? You can either just give up and call it a day, or you can pivot your business and turn it into something else. It's still books. I'm just fulfilling on myself. I have a storage unit. You're going to need space. If you're doing this out of your house, maybe 1 or 2 bookshelves just to see kind of where it plays out. You probably can fit a few hundred books on those and you'll be good to go. So that's my plan on how I'm going to counteract it. Now your numbers here, your utilization quantity is important. So when I was stuck at 1,000, every unit I could sell or fix meant a lot. So your stranded inventory counts, your long-term books that you have sitting in there, get them removed. Go back, stuff that's been sitting there for way too long that isn't going to sell, liquidate them, have them sent back to you, anything like that, because your space is so valuable now. So when I do get under this, you got to be a lot more picky with what you're sending. So high E scores, I'll probably only send in books that have, you know, 40 plus E scores, so I know when it gets there it's going to sell right away. Any long tail items, merchant fulfilled or eBay, and that's how you can kind of counteract what they're throwing at you. So this is, from what everybody's seeing here, this is something that's going to be all fourth quarter. And I believe at the beginning of the year, my restock limits didn't jump back up until the 2nd or 3rd week of January. So if you're seeing something right now, that's probably what you're going to have for the next few months. So you better figure out a way to make this work. It has nothing to do with basically your account health, anything like that. You know, your IPI. My IPI has been in good standing. August has been the best month for me. I've had my biggest day in August when it comes to single day sales and units sold in a single day all year long. So there's no way. They just basically go across the board and say, here you go, here's half of that. And then, you know, if you're under that, then next week they'll cut you in another half and another half. Now, from what I know is nothing should go under 1,000. At least last year it didn't. So people that are worried, you know, maybe it'll go down to 500. I personally have never seen or heard anybody that had a restock limit of only 500. So, I mean, there's a lot of people this isn't going to affect, but anybody that's kind of, you know, hovering around the 1,000 mark or in a situation where I'm in, where you're over your limit, you can't send anything else in, you just have to, you know, sell through the items you got and kind of pivot your business until it gets to a point where maybe you can start sending more in FBA. But maybe at that point you're committed to merchant fulfilled, and you know, maybe you never go back to FBA. Maybe you just continue the merchant fulfilled, and there's plenty of huge booksellers, you know, that do that, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. It's just what works best for you. So anyways, I wanted to make this video. These restock limits are back and they suck. I mean, they just don't want me to make any money. They don't want you to make any money. You got to pivot like any other business. You know, you got to decide what you're going to do. You're going to either fail, give up, or you're going to say, hey, I'm going to do this instead. And who knows, maybe when you go that other route, it's more profitable. Maybe, you know, come on to a whole new business model and things work out better than what you were doing. Sure, it sucks merchant fulfilling when you're so used to FBA and just sending your stuff in, but what are you going to do? These are the times we're in. Personally, I think, you know, if they drop the restock limits this year, they're going to do it every year, fourth quarter, to everybody across the board. So this is something new, kind of permanent. We have to figure out going forward how we're going to adapt to this. You might not be maxed out this year, but next year you might be. So it's time to start thinking, you know, ahead and have a plan for when something like this happens. So that's going to do it for the video. I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and call Amazon and tell them, hey, Mike needs more storage space. He can have some of mine. Here, give him like 10 or 15 of mine. If you all call and give me like 10 or 15 of your slots, I'll be good to go. So I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more used book videos. Bye-bye.